when you drink it?
Yeah. See, because I run warm, so whenever I drink coffee, I overheat. So it has to be like iced coffee or Rockstar or something like that.
Yeah. Run warm. Do you find yourself sweating like for no reason?
Absolutely. I'll sit in front of my computer and I'll just start profusely sweating through my shirt.
You know, even though California is supposed to be a little bit sort of more chill and relaxed, whenever I'm in California, temperature-wise, I always wind up sweating my sweet patootie off, and I'll let you know why directly after this. Welcome to the show, Concept 714. We are stoked to have you here. Yay!
Van Halen.
The anxiously anticipated album Van Halen 2 was released in 1979, continuing the band's success as Dance the Night Away became their first top 20 single. In 1980, Women and Children First didn't have any charting singles, but was a success on the album charts, reaching number 6. The band supported the album with their first headlining international arena tour and were quickly on their way to being superstars.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Van Halen and all your favorite artists. And now, this week's Rock Almanac.
The Eagles released their fourth album, One of These Nights, June 10th, 1975. It becomes their first album to hit number 1 on the charts. In 1976, Rush began a 3-night stand at Massey Hall in Toronto. Recordings comprised their first live album, All the World's a Stage. 1977, George Harrison and Pattie Boyd were officially divorced. Boyd would marry Eric Clapton 2 years later. In 1978, the Rolling Stones released their 16th American studio album, Some Girls. And in 1979, the Cars released their second album, Candy O. Bruce Springsteen married E Street Band member Patti Scialfa at their home in Beverly Hills, California, this week in 1991.
That's your look back at this week's Rock Almanac.
Hey, you, what's that sound? Coming so loud from your radio dial. AD, we getting down when you're rocking the jams. Here I am, going back once again. I'm ruling all city like the king I am.
So, the reason I find, like, I split my time mostly back and forth between Texas, great state of Texas, and Cali. By the way, they have a list that they put out a little while ago of states that people no longer want to be part of the union. And the rest of the country finds these states objectionable enough to where they wish they were not part of our United States of America. Who do you think was first to get voted out? Funkhauser and Concept. Which state do you think the rest of the country has the most problems with?
Florida.
One of the Carolinas would be my...
No, California in at number 1. Rest of the country wants nothing to do with California.
How dare
Can't
you.
relate to it.
It's the best part of America.
In at number 2, Texas. But here's the thing. Texas is a little weird. Texas is thrown off because, like, most of the people in Texas want to secede and don't want to be part of the United States anyway. So, like,
Yeah,
the
these
United
are all the
States
big
Texas.
states, you know? Like, didn't they say California should be cut up into 9 pieces?
I don't. Well, so, like, California number 1, Texas number 2, and in at number 3, what do you think?
Alaska.
I've always hated Delaware.
Yeah.
That's
it's close to Delaware, New York. So I'm originally from New York, and I sort of split the rest of my time up in this country between Texas and California. So the 3 places I call home in America are viewed to be the most reprehensible by the people of America. So in theory, I'm like the most irritating mix of people in the entire United States. Like, people want me gone like you wouldn't believe. But anyways. having established that I'm annoying, the one thing that I've noticed about California is whenever I'm here, I always wind up like huffing and puffing and sweating my balls off. Only because there's something about the flora and fauna in California where I had really bad asthma when I was a kid in England. Didn't sort of like follow me to New York for whatever reason. But there's something, it's born of allergies, hay fever kicks in, and all of a sudden I feel like there's an elephant sitting on my chest. I walk up one flight of steps and I got to sit down. It's really weird, really uncomfortable. It plagued me throughout my entire childhood. And then when I moved to New York, no big deal. Didn't have a problem with it. Not a thing. And then when I was in Texas, again, not a problem. Terrible allergies in Texas, like you want to rip your eyes out every sort of August because of the ragweed or what have you. But no asthma. Here in California, I find myself feeling, again, like that proverbial elephant is sitting on my chest. I think it has something to do with the amount of pine. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, I find it really hard to breathe here. And then I find myself sweating profusely all the time. And people go, yeah, you lived in Texas where it's 113. What's your excuse? You should be used to this. And the thing is, Californians, I think, the temperature it sits around a comfortable, 65 to 85 over the course of the year. It's very temperate. It's very nice. But because it, hovers around the 70s, a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need an air conditioner. You just open up the window. There's a cross breeze. No, there's not a cross breeze. It's just north of comfortable. And you wind up sweating even though it's like 70 degrees. So I'm with you. I am with you, Concept 714. I think like sometimes I have my morning cup of coffee, and if the air conditioning isn't on, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. Because in a place as hot as Texas and humid as Texas, you immediately go to the thermostat and set it straight to 65 because that's what you need to survive. But when you're used to 65 and you're hovering around like 72, 73 indoors, it's gross.
It's the humidity, I think, in California. We have like a blanket of smog over us. So whenever it gets warm, and we're spoiled. I mean, it'll hit 80 and people blow out like citywide blackouts just because we use all of our AC up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure in Texas, you guys are just like, oh, it's 112. Oh, okay. Well, let's put some shorts on and let's move on with our life.
Nothing my air conditioning can't handle.
Actually, I think... I think that pretty sure that air conditioning was invented in Texas by a Texan. And you spend some time there during the summer, you absolutely understand why immediately. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, it's either that or die. So you set it to a chilly 65 and you're good. It's like there's certain places in America where Mother Nature actively tries to kill you like 8-9 weeks out of the year. Like if you go to Minnesota or something like that. You ever been to Minnesota in the winter?
I have not. I've always wanted to go, though.
Really?
I don't know. It just sounded like the thing to say. I don't. But hey, D, look.
Isn't your biggest hero of all time from Minnesota?
Oh, yeah. Slug. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you talk about Prince, right? Because I'm a huge Prince fan. No,
huge Prince fan and Slug.
Slug.
Actually, I mean, for those that don't know, Koncept is a host of one of the biggest indie hip hop podcasts on the face of the planet, if not the biggest. And there's a huge independent rap scene in Minneapolis. Like huge. That's where the Rhyme Sayers folks are based and whatnot.
Absolutely. They actually created a new genre of hip hop when they first came out. Like hip hop before, it was either really gutter, it was really gangster, it was really this. But when they started releasing their form of hip hop, it allowed us people that have like a minimal exposure to real like street ghetto and all this stuff, and just more like based off our real experiences, like your real life experiences, as opposed to have someone who's been in a gang or shootouts and stuff like that, So they were able to write their emotions and feelings, which give way to us realizing there's another way to express ourselves in hip hop. So I give full credit to Atmosphere for that. Everyone from the Rhyme Sayers, Idea, rest in peace, to everyone just being able to release themselves in a new way, express themselves in a completely different way. And it gave courage to all of us to do our own thing.
I think you've absolutely hit on something because, you ever used to watch that show, How I Met Your Mother?
Oh, I love that show. Absolutely. Yes.
You know how one of the characters in it, Marshall, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
In that show, he's from Minneapolis, and And there's one scene where they're like, "Hey, look, Marshall, that's called a black person." And he's like, "Shut up. We have black people in Minneapolis." And they're like, "Not when Prince is on tour." And but I think you're kind of right. I think that whole clique, rather than trying to be something they're not, trying to be urban, trying to be down, they were just very open to the art form that is hip hop, and they were very open to like, okay, what are we gonna do with this? This set of paints and watercolors. How are we gonna paint with these tools? What kind of pictures are we gonna create? How are we gonna do that yet remain true to ourselves? And that's what's cool about the whole Rhymesayers thing. They did it without trying to be anything that they're not. And I'm not saying that's a black thing or a white thing, but I'm just saying the experience of someone in Minnesota is very different to the experience of someone in LA or New York. And Minnesota has its own thing. Like I said, if you've never been there in the winter, you got to go at least once just to experience. It's really like Mother Nature actively tries to kill you a couple of months out of the year. And I did this thing there once where I threw a bowl of water up in the air and it came down as snow.
No.
It was, yeah.
Wow.
It was amazing. Like it looked like some straight up Bill Nye the Science Guy stuff. It's just, it's one of the most impressive and scary things that I've ever seen. You know what else they have in Minnesota? Have you ever been there at all?
I've never been. No.
They have a really sort of interesting sense of community out there. And I think it comes from the fact that, like I said, 2-3 months out of the year, Mother Nature actively tries to take your life. And so you get used to doing things like checking on your neighbor because, they might be dead. Or if you've ever driven in Minnesota in a snowstorm, which I have, one thing that you notice, like when it rains in Texas, people are like blowing by you doing 90, being like, "Too bad your car can't handle it, Mr. Hydroplane. I've got places to be." But there, one thing I noticed on the road when it's really bad, everybody's kind of going slow and looking out for each other. And you kind of feel like mutually people are trying to take care of one another and, digging folks out of ditches. And it's like, I don't know. I think that has to do with...
I haven't seen Sally in a few days. Maybe we should go to her flat,
Yeah, for geez. I was on the way to the Prince concert, don't you know, and
bring over some Buddha and see how the things are.
Well, yeah, I mean, the survival instinct kicks in. You're absolutely right. There's places that I don't believe people still live in, like a Tornado Alley. Like, it's called Tornado Alley, and then they always complain. They're always shocked too, like, "Oh, a tornado!" Yes. This place is named after the fact that there's tornadoes here. Why is your trailer still there? Like, just, take a cousin that you're living with and move on to another. I mean, even like, the igloos and stuff like that. They understand their circumstances around them and they adapt, but not these specific people. They're too stubborn or I mean, this is where my moonshine's kept, or I don't know what it is. But that they just continue to live in a place called Tornado Alley,
Yeah, I
fascinates
guess
me.
Living in a place called Tornado Alley would be good impetus to move. You ever hear that old Sam Kinison bit where he's talking about stop sending money to third world relief charities? He was like, what the hell is the point of this? He was like, you get out there, you go on the plane, and you go, hey, get out of the mud hut. See this? See this all around you? See this all around you? This is called sand, and nothing grows here. Let's move. We'll make one trip. Get on the plane. We'll take you somewhere else. That way we can stop sending you effing money. This place has sucked now. It sucked before, and it's always going to suck, so just effing move. And obviously I can't do the full Sam Kinison.
Because then he yells wildly. Yeah. No, it's so funny that you say that, because I always hear like, "Oh, they have to," in the British announcer voice, "They have to walk 5 miles every day to get water." And the one thing I think about, why not move closer to the water?
Well,
what is happening at this? Why are you still there? "Oh, you don't understand that they're impoverished people." I understand it. I get it.
Yeah.
But move closer to the water. It's a hut, right? Like, what? It's not an industrial-sized complex. It's like, no. "Oh, well, I live in a shed made of aluminum foil." Okay, take the aluminum foil with you and move closer to the water.
Yeah. No, you make a very valid point. Like nothing grows here. How did we start making fun of third world?
I started with I got hot with coffee, and then I don't know. I don't know what it is, but. Dude, I have to sit underneath one of those swamp coolers after I have a cup of coffee because like those grain industrial coolers, you know where to cool down when I have a cup of coffee. That's how bad it gets.
It affects your whole body temperature.